Hello everybody, welcome back to Ghostly French Toast, and we're going back to some DS2 kind of thing. We're talking about the Looking Glass Knight. And you may be wondering, Ghostly French Toast, there's not much lore with this boss, it's just another standard soldier. And dear viewer, you are surely mistaken. There's some interesting lore with this and involving the Vendrick's most honorable knight. So, enough dothering around, we're going to dive on in. Basics, as you know, we have to go over the basics because, DS2 came out a while ago. Just a good refresher. DS2 boss, shocker. Boss in Drang Lake Castle. And personally, I think it's one of the best, it's probably the best boss of the base game. As a very, not really a controversial take. There's some good bosses. I do enjoy Dark Lurker, but I'm a big Looking Glass Knight kind of guy. You can summon players, so how this works is you put your red summon sign right outside the boss arena, and you have the chance of invading another person's world, and I love that gimmick, and I think they should bring it back. Definitely refine it a little bit, make it easier, and I think that Covenant with Half-Life, that was a great concept. But, I wish it was, further expanded upon in Elden Ring, and I'm hoping Covenants come back in Night Rain. That's a big hope for me. Fights at the top of the highest peak, basically guarding the Sanctuary. It's a weird, very structurally weird area. Dark Souls 2 is very structurally weird. You can't really talk about the Looking Glass Knight without talking about Vendrick. So basically, the King of Drang Lake, he was a silly, goofy guy, He was a human, and he was pretty chill. Everyone kind of loved him besides the Giants, besides declaring a 6-year war on the Giants, which is kind of wild, if you ask me. For the Throne of Wan, and he didn't really know why he wanted the Throne of Wan. Besides, Throne of Wan's kind of a banger name for a throne. If I had a seat in my room, I'd name it the Throne of Wan too. No, but he was kind of a simp, not gonna lie. But he was kind of seduced. He was kind of molested in a way, or Nassandrested. That's close enough. He was Nassandrested by Nassandra. In order to go for the Throne of Want, because Nassandra was basically a child of Manus and wanted the Throne of Want for herself, just power, greed. Because when Manus died in Dark Souls 1, he was shattered, all that, whatever, and different kingdoms got different versions of Manus, and Drang Lake got Nassandra, which kind of sucks balls, the worst one, I personally think. Fell to basically Shard of Manus and was too late, so basically set up this entire elaborate thing so Nassandra couldn't get the Throne of Want herself, so she had to employ the Tarnished, she had to employ the Chosen Undead to basically go and get the Throne of Want. So it's a very silly, goofy thing, and this is kind of where Looking Glass Knight comes into play. Looking Glass Knight. Sorry, it's been a long day. Basically is Vendrick's top knight. We know that. And my personal headcanon is that he's protecting Shrine of Amana. Because the Shrine of Amana is, evil spirit can't really go there. So it's all even though Nassandra can't get there, it's kind of like a testing. Because Looking Glass Knight's right at the top of the tower, whatever. So enough dialing around. Let's talk about Syan, Vendrick's top dog. So you might be wondering, Ghostly French Toast, why are you talking about the Syan? Syan Knights are a group of knights. But Syan Knights were also named after Syan. It's like Sir Alon. Sir Alon had his knights, but Syan was also similar to this. We don't really know Syan, we don't see Syan specifically in Dark Souls 2, but we know of the person. And it was kind of Vendrick's top dog of a knight. Basically led Vendrick's knights and refined them, whatever, and basically was pretty chill dude. Used lightning, and we see all of Vendrick's knights start using lightning, which I think is a very interesting dynamic, because I think when you think of Vendrick's knights, you think of the dragon riders, all that, and they don't really use lightning, but these knights use lightning, and that's very something to take note of later. Very high ranking in his army. So we know that Syan led Vendrick's army, the first charge against the Giants, and spoiler, he died. Because the Giants are pretty fucking busted, not gonna lie. They're kind of, as the name implies, giant. So at the first charge against the Giants, the first big skirmish, Syan died. And that's something to really take note of and just remember. Being one of Vendrick's top knights, he's like, damn, this guy died on me. Shit, fuck. Vendrick's golems. So Ghostly French Toast, you're grasping at straws right now. Hear me out. I'm cooking. Let me cook. Uses spirit souls to create golems. So Vendrick, one of the Vendrick's big inventions, at least in the time of being ruling, is the fusing of stone objects and or statues with souls. And we see this in multiple accounts. We see this right before Looking Glass Night, where we have the horse twin blade looking dudes. There's statues that come to life. You have the actual golems, where you have to kill people in the big golem room. We have to kill the different enemies by the statues so they can absorb the souls and turn into basically a living, moving object that has kind of a purpose. Even though the statues themselves, their main goal is to defend, they strategize, look at the flexile sentries. They are just basically statues, or just hollowed out armor shells, but they still come to life to protect, basically, Dringley Castle. Found out how to do this because Aldia is the GOAT. Aldia is some cryptic ass bitch who's kind of the GOAT, and he's a tree looking dude and he's smart. And we see this also in Aldia's Keep, where he's kind of just working with the soul aspect kind of thing, trying to figure out how the bonfire works, basically the fundamental aspects of humanity. And I think with that research, he was able to create the golems, and Vendrick employed the golems in his castle, inner working, and just protection kind of thing. Uses spirits to protect the castle, and you maybe coming together like, oh my gosh, this Ghostly French Toast fellow, he's kind of a genius. Just kidding, I'm not a genius. I'm in college. The Reanimating of Syan. So going back to talking about Syan Knights and Syan himself, so we know he died. In my personal headcanon, Vendrick brought him back as the Looking Glass Knight. Hear me out. Let me cook. Both use electricity. So we know Syan's Knights, and this is where we get a lot of information, is they use both use electricity as one of their main forms of attack. And you might be wondering, like, Ghostly French Toast, how is he able to bring back the soul of him? We'll get to that in a sec. High-ranking knights. Looking Glass Knight in his armor description talks about how he was one of Vendrick's most trusted knights. Can run out of stamina. So it's not like a statue where it's like a stone statue where it's like kind of just slowly, you have to infuse it with souls. It's a living thing or living as much as a statue can be. Where it's not like other statues where it's just like, oh, whatever. This is a living thing that's kind of been alive for a minute. And the King's Mirror is a portal to the afterlife. I personally think this is how Vendrick did it, where he used the King's Mirror to basically bring Syan back. And I think that's one of the big things that Aldia and him used to bring people back from the dead, all that, to infuse souls, whatever. But I think he specifically brought Syan back to put into the armor of the Looking Glass Knight. Just to protect, because he was besides like Velstad, he was one of the top dogs in Vendrick's army. But yeah, that's it for this time. I know it's a shorter video. I appreciate you guys coming in. I took some feedback, and just tried to make it a little darker. I had some comments about that. So yeah, that's it for this time. I'll see you next time on Ghostly French Toast. Bye-bye.